Right then, quick video today. This is going to save you hundreds of pounds if you shoot black and white film. I started bulk loading my own film about 2 months ago, and I should have been doing it for years. I shoot about 2 or 3 rolls of black and white film a week, and through this new process I've got, I'm saving between £2 and £4 per roll, so it's just too good a saving to pass up. I decided to make the video because I realized that people are a bit apprehensive of doing this. It's super easy. I'm going to show you all the things you need. I'm going to show you quite how you do it. Obviously, some of it's done in complete darkness, but once you get the film into this box, do it all in daylight, and it takes seconds. You can time me. I can do this. One roll will take me about 40 seconds, I'd estimate. So let's get going. I'll move this stuff out the way. I decided to buy Ilford Delta 400 film. I think next time I'm going to go for HB5. This is good stuff. This roll cost me just shy of £70 from a company in the UK called AG-photographic. I'm not advertising for them, it's just where I buy my stuff. I had a quick look today, and for one roll of this, you would pay just around £6.20. Now, there are 19 rolls in 100 feet, so if you purchase your film in bulk, you're paying £3.70 a roll. So that's £2.50 off every roll of black and white you shoot. It can be even better. I mean, you save less, but your HP5 would only cost you £3.50 a roll if you were to buy it in the 100-foot bulk and shoot it. It is specifically Ilford though, that's one thing I should probably say. Tri-X is over £210 a roll, and this is the 100-foot roll from most UK websites, which is just absurd, but people often call HB5, they kind of knock off Tri-X. So shoot that, save loads of money, take more pictures, have more fun. You're saving money, but you do have to buy a few things before you can start. Obviously you have to buy one of these. It's just a big circular mount. You drop the film in and then it feeds through this gate at the top. Now you do that in the dark. I don't actually have a darkroom, so I used this, which is, it's a light-proof bag. So when I get my big roll of film, what I do is I put it in here with that, obviously in the dark, take it out of the case very carefully, put it in here, screw it up, and I can take everything else out. It's literally just a zip, a fold, and 2 armholes. So these aren't too expensive. Might be worth investing in. Other than the bulk loader and the dark bag, you also need to buy these reloadable cassettes. These things cost 80p each. I bought 10 of them, but I find I use maybe 4, 5 at once on the go, so I have some that I've never used before. Now, they are plastic, and you screw the lid off, fit your film on. They probably won't last forever, because I've noticed that the felt's coming off, but they'll last long enough. Yep, and you're gonna need some scissors and some double-sided tape. That's the whole setup. These go for, I bought this one for about £50 new. They go for £20 or so on eBay. Here's a quick run through. These prices are live or as of the 21st of January, so you can get an idea. I mean, if you see this video and rush onto eBay, you'll probably be able to find these listings, depending on how quickly you see the video. 80p each. The tape, I'll be honest, any tape will do as long as it's narrow and sort of relatively adhesive. And I'm sure you've already got scissors, so I wouldn't factor that cost in. Right, I'm now going to switch the camera angle up, and we'll go over my shoulder, and I'll demonstrate loading one roll, and let's get going with that. Okay, so I'm going to quickly demonstrate how you get your film out of here and into your canisters. Now, the first step is to take the lid off your plastic canisters. They just screw off. Put that there, you're going to need it. This central spindle is where you attach your film, and that's the rest of the case. So to start off with your AP bulk loader, and bear in mind this is specific for this model, you'll have to get slightly different instructions if you don't buy the same one as me. But I pull off this cranking handle, and then I open this top gate. You can see here, this stem of film, this is where I cut off from my last roll, and obviously this is exposed to light. There's nothing you can do about that, but it's also the attachment point for this next roll. So, orientating this the right way up, what I'm going to do is find the end of my tape. Here we go. Now I'm using this double-sided tape, and I do like to use quite a lot of tape, because if you mess up and don't stick it on well enough, you'll find that the film can actually snap off inside the camera. It's a nightmare. That's the worst thing about bulk welding film, so I give it a really good amount of tape to get it going. Now what I do is I stick it on the center, and I'm just going to go and peel off the backing paper on this tape. I'm slightly less dexterous because I'm trying to show you guys what I'm doing, which means I'm leaning over the top of my machine. But I don't know if you can see, it's just about to separate. Okay, here we go. So what I've got is a central spindle with a long length of double-sided tape. Now I've wrapped that round really tight, so I'm confident that this isn't going to pull off. And I'm just going to lay it over the tape. I'm going to lay the tape over the film. Okay, I'm going to pull a little bit more out. There we go. So what I've got now is a taped bit of film just on the end. He looks happy. What I'm going to do is pull a bit out, and that is just so that I can fit this over the top. Now all you do is you line the light-proof trap up with the edge of the film, and then I quickly push it straight across so it doesn't get stuck on the adhesive part of the tape. And now as you push this film in, like this, he moves up so he's snug against the film trap here, so that looks good. That was close. I almost forgot to put my lid on. Okay, lid's screwed in. If you can look at the hole where the cranking handle goes, it actually lines up directly down into the film canister itself. So when I put this in, I'm able to turn that central spindle and just start bringing the film through. So what I'm going to do is close the lid, cranking handle goes in. When that clicks down, this door's actually prevented from opening, and it's in kind of light-proof mode, ready to go. Here we go. There's a needle on the top. You can, with this, you can add as much film as you want, but cameras can only take between 36 and 40 max. Some people like to roll 10, just if they're testing a camera, but I'm going to do a full 36. So what I want to do is crank this handle until that needle's back at the top. I'll face it towards you guys so you can see what I'm doing. So this handle just goes rounds and rounds. Yeah, I can go faster, I don't know why I'm going so slow. It's not the most interesting bit to watch. Okay, you can see I've put 25 on, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 36th frame, so I take the thing out. Now, this canister has the roll of film in it now, so when I pull a bit out, I can reach over, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. I'm just cutting it off like that. I'm quite careful not to cut through one of the sprocket holes because apparently it can get caught on things. But if it does cut through a sprocket hole, you can just trim an extra bit off, so don't worry about that too much. Let's close them up. Put this back in so it doesn't fly open. Okay, the last little bit of admin is to take your roll and cut down into the middle, and before you make your sort of loading cut, you've got to make sure that you cut away from the sort of protrusion on the top of the roll. Now, if you're worried about which way to go, do look up a picture on Google or find a roll of colour that you have which has the correct orientation. Because if you cut it the wrong way, what you're going to have to do is cut it square again and then go further into it, and you're going to waste a couple of frames. But yeah, so I've got this cut down into the middle, and then I just cut like that. Okay, so here is my roll, ready to put in the camera. Okay, so that's the loading procedure. I'm now sat with my freshly loaded roll of Delta 400. I am going to go through a few drawbacks though of bulk loading, because it's not all plain sailing. Apart from the issue I mentioned with the central spindle coming unattached, the solution is just a lot of tape. There are other drawbacks to it, such as it being black and white only. Now, you are kind of limited to Ilford film when you use this. You can buy Kentmere film, that's a bit cheaper, but AG-5 represents the best, in my opinion, sort of saving to quality. If you're into Kodak Tri-X, you're paying £7 a roll for these store rolled canisters, but you're actually paying £210 for the 100 foot. It's not worth it. Even bulk loading it, it's actually more expensive than letting them do it for you. So if you only shoot Tri-X, this isn't for you. If you want to shoot colour, this isn't for you. It's only for those people who are happy shooting a lot of HP5 or Delta 400. Another drawback is that these canisters that you can reuse don't have the DX coding on them. Now, this is the one I just loaded, and this is a roll of Fujicolor 400. Now, if you look at this part underneath the leader, those silver markings actually communicate with certain cameras and tell them which meter setting they need. Now, if you look at this, I've got this SLR here. This one has a manual meter, so I can set the ISO to whatever I want. I can have 400 speed film in there, and I can shoot it as if the ISO is 200. I can have 200 speed in, and I can push it to 1600. I can basically just do whatever I want, but that's not the case with some cameras, particularly point and shoots, and particularly more modern ones. If that is the case, what you have to do is buy stickers that affix here, and it's a load of hassle because the stickers have to be in exactly the right place. They have to be exactly the right one for your film speed. Yeah. So you can't just sort of slap one on. You're going to be there measuring things. It's a load of hassle. But those are some small drawbacks, and you have all these benefits. You have all this price advantage. Oh, one big one. At the end of each frame, at the end of each roll, you lose half a frame to a light leak, and I'll show you the reason why this happens. Now, if I take my bulk loader back out, if you look at this bit here, now this is where I cut off the roll during the loading process, but this bit of film will, in a few days' time, whenever I reload it, it will actually become the leader, or the inside bit where it attaches to the spindle of my next roll. And because it's exposed at this end, the very final frame will have a little bit of a light leak on the sort of last 10-15% of it. I'll put a image here. If you look at the bottom of it, I don't know where it is on my screen, but it's about here of the image is just completely erased. It can be a bit annoying if you forget that that's something that happens, but my experience has been that rewinding on the 35th frame is actually advantageous anyway, because you don't risk the spindle detaching from the film, which is really bad. So yeah, a few drawbacks, big price advantage. If you shoot black and white film, you should be doing it. Thanks for watching.